Kristin, we watched 8 movies, which typically would be like 16 hours, but in Hallmark World without commercials was like 3.5. We don't have time for a cold opening. Roll the beginning.
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
Hi, welcome back to a festive Thanksgiving week of 3,000 movies. I'm one of your hosts of Remark, Chris Finger, and this other one here.
I'm one of your hosts, Kev Reagan, if we're doing the short first names. You will note us.
Noda.
Listen, 8 long movies. You will note it are mic-less, meaning we do not have producer extraordinaire Mike G on this episode. He is in Seattle? I don't know.
Francisco?
Oh, that's fun to say. Wherever he is, he wishes he could be here, but he is not. So he is with us in spirit. So every time we say Mike G, he'll just pop up in that sound bowl.
Wait, is it a dead Mike G alert?
No, that's
no, it is not. It's not. Oh, Kristin, what's happening?
Since you said it, coming into this weekend, we are tied with Die Hard. We are tied. Die Hard had 23 bodies. So far, Countdown to Christmas has 23 bodies. It's possible that it will stay a tie through the rest of the Countdown to Christmas season. It's possible. Who knows? Let's see what happens. What
world of possibilities do you live in? A crazy one.
Let's get to some plot plops and we'll find out, because the movie we watched pre-Thanksgiving was on Wednesday, November 22nd at 8 p.m. on the Movies and Mysteries, aka Miracles of Christmas channel. We saw a season for family. Matt's adopted son Wesley has just one Christmas wish: to meet his brother Cody, who was adopted into a different family. Cody's father Paul is a witch. We have officially, in the description to the movie, we have beat the greatest Christmas movie, some say, Die Hard.
Some say.
I say. I just said it.
I'll say.
Yeah, we should all say it.
Also, one of the movies this weekend said.
That's true. They did talk about it. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But that's like 6 hours from now, so hang in there.
It is. Saddle up, partners.
So Cody's father, Paul, is a widower who is not ready to have this conversation with his son, so he turns down the meeting. However, circumstances bring the two brothers unknowingly together, and they become fast friends while sparks fly between Maddie and Paul. This was directed by Kevin Fair, who directed Checkin' It Twice and Always Amore, written by Stephen Sessions, who wrote Chateau Christmas, and starring Stacey Farber from Butlers in Love. We loved Butlers in Love. I love Stacey Farber. And Brandon Penny from In Merry Measure. And I do want to point out the two kids, because they were part of this and they were very good. You had Azriel Dalman. I really found him refreshing and fun to watch in this. So
yeah.
And Benjamin Jacobson, who we recently saw as Young Wallace in The Mystery of Mistletoe Lane. Kristin, Finger.
Yo.
Let it rip. What are we looking at?
Listen, by the looks of this, what?
4-minute countdown on these
4
movies.
minute?
You're all night. I just started it. Go.
Okay. By the looks of this, from the commercials, I was like, oh, this is going to be a dud.
Great.
But for some reason, I didn't hate this movie.
Great.
And I also, for some reason, have a crush on Brendan Penny.
Oh,
Like
he's
there's something about him that is really great. And also I liked his character. And I really like the story of this. I thought it was pretty sweet.
yeah. I did too. He pushed back a little too hard at times, which I found a little bit silly. The circumstance around this film are redonkulous. Like when it happened, you're like, whoa.
The amount of times it was like Christmas Miracle.
I know. And it was on the Miracles channel. So
Yeah. I do think that the plot was very forced, and we all saw it coming before we wanted to see it. But I still sat down for the ride, you know. But like I do think that it's interesting to me because this weekend did have another movie with an adoption sort of situation, and I'm really enjoying these plot lines of the not the normal family.
Norman typical
right.
portrait. Yeah.
So I'm always here for not the normal.
Yeah. I liked, Paul's character runs a ski shop. It's struggling a little bit because the big ski shop. What's a big ski shop, by the way?
Well, I mean, have you been to Killington Mountain?
Clearly not. Thanks for pointing it out, Kristin.
I think I was as a child. I don't
and just, it was nice. His business is starting to struggle. And then Stacy, or Maddie, rather, the actor's name is Stacy. Maddie's father runs this very big hotel, and she's obviously moved away to kind of make her own bones out there in the world. But she's awesome. She's great at what she does. And I like the intrusive mom in this one because she's the one who kind of is cutting through the BS, as it were. Yeah. And be kind of like, listen, you guys got to talk. You got to talk to each other. So.
Well, and also again, we had a lovely secondary romance.
Very good romance.
Which was really cute. I like this. To me felt sitcom-y because of that second romance. And another one from this weekend felt sitcom-y with the side friends, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the second romance too. I found it funny that they were not butting heads, but like I knew it immediately. I actually thought, I said to my wife, I was like, ooh, I think that his business partner in the ski school might be dating his ex-wife. This is before we realized his wife was
dead.
Yeah, and unless he had a Ouija board, he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
But then it quickly became obvious that, oh no, it's his sister. So Paul's sister, I believe Taylor, is dating his business partner, but they're keeping it on the hush-hush because Paul flies off the handle, and he does. And that's exactly what he would do at little things. So
at little things. Yeah. But because he didn't know how to handle emotions at this point.
But he learned. Can I just say, and again, I'm not taking anything away from Maddie, but when Paul is called into the hotel to do like all of the measurements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He did not need her one bit. And he was like, if I didn't have you, I don't know what I would have done. He shouted out numbers and she wrote them down. He could have just done that.
And it was, she would just, I don't know. Have you ever been skiing?
No, I never have.
So I used to go skiing a lot as a child because my dad and mom love skiing. There's Frank in his ski gear. But like, yeah, like that's not how you is very strange.
We're in overtime. I'll allow it.
Oh, okay. I was just sharing that like the ski measuring was like overkill. Like you can tell the people what size your foot is, and the boot will just match your shoe size.
Overall, I would say check it out. Oh, are you a?
No, I'm a medium to a this. Do you know what I mean?
You're just like my kid. I'm this. I was fine with it. The kids were decent enough. They're goofy at times, but they were decent. Yeah. They were fine.
That's fine.
Okay with this movie.
It's fine. We can't have all 10s, you know.
Not a 10. I'm not giving this a 10, but it was fine.
What was next, Kevin? What was next?
Speaking of 10s, Thursday. This was on Thanksgiving. Thursday, November 23rd at 8 p.m. We have Catch Me If You Claus. Listen, this movie, I'll tell you right out of the gate, suffers from a terrible name.
Terrible title.
Terrible. But Avery Quinn slot. Man, listen, these don't have bifocals in them, so I can't really see my screen. and I don't memorize this. I mean, would you? There's
No.
come on, Avery
No.
Quinn shot at anchoring news clashes. Mike.
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put more lipstick on while you do this because I look really pale.
Oh, yeah. Avery Quinn's shot at anchoring news clashes with a Santa-suited intruder, Chris, who insists he's Santa's son on a first Christmas mission. They unravel a career-making story together. This was directed by Bradley Walsh, who you might remember from Undercover Holiday. It was all right.
He loves little what?
Little secret.
Yeah.
Loves a secret. Written by Nina Weinman, also the writer of Undercover Holiday, and starring Italia Ricci, I believe is how you say, from Designated Survivor, and Luke McFarlane from Chateau Christmas and Single All the Way.
And Bros.
Bros, yes. Go see Bros. Kristin.
You.
I'm gonna start my 4-minute clock. Are you ready?
You start this time. I'll come in. Why don't I have, where are my notes?
I have notes. Perfect movie. No. Oh, that kind of notes.
I have no notes. I mean, I
loved it. Listen, I'm telling you, this is in my top 3 of this. I loved it.
I think so. I think so.
I used to love Luke McFarlane, but I don't think I loved Luke McFarlane.
Right. He's a little, I mean, didn't know what to put him in, and he was a little like, I'm a dude, no, I'm wearing sweaters. Like,
I feel like since him, openly coming out, his like he's so freaking charming, and I think he's charming.
So
yes, on screen, I freaking loved it, man.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Do I give that huge spoiler? I kind of don't want to watch this movie. I don't want to give, but he thinks he's Santa's son. And there's like this whole caper that's going on. It was so good. It was so well laid out, and it came together so nicely. A lot of times when they do mysteries in Hallmark, it's like, ugh.
No, but this was like a caper. This was like so much shenanigans.
Yeah.
And you know how much I love Christmas shenanigans. Yeah. Like, first of all, some dude's name was Bink Binkerson. Come on. 10 out of 10.
That was a Pertley
or Halfley or whatever his name is on Parks and Rec.
And a Chihuahua dating a penguin situation. You have to watch a movie for that. Yeah.
But my favorite part clearly is when they come across the rainbow, the most gay theater troupe you've ever met. And I was so excited that when at one point I think she was like, do you guys have any wigs? And the one guy's like, do we have wigs? I was like, I wanted a wig montage, but it's so funny.
They did a nice job because in the very beginning there's a bad snowstorm, so they don't have cell phone service, and then she breaks his cell phone. He has a flip phone, and she breaks his flip phone. And then when they go out into the world, she's lost her cell phone.
Yeah. So
where cell phone service might work again, they don't have cell phones. Right. So they try and use landlines. And I dug it. Like, I liked a lot of what they were doing with.
Yeah.
Again, we talk about this. You go back and watch so many horror films, not even horror, but with a cell phone, with the advent of cell phones,
right?
It's possible to have mysteries and. And
I think that the idea of not having a cell phone in the big city of Dayton, Ohio, it was funny that, like, because at first I didn't quite understand why she couldn't make a phone call in her own house. But I'll be honest, when I lived in these condos over in Warminster, I had to like sit by the window to make a phone call because I had no signal. Yeah, so I was like, yeah.
That was all from the storm. I do like, again, going back to the thespian group, the Rainbow Room. I like that they won 3 Tonys.
Oh my God. Pizza.
Down the street. Stop. Tiny Tim, for a split second, I thought was Benjamin Ayres. And I was like, a Benjamin Ayres cameo. And I was like disappointed when I found that it wasn't. And I thought, I guess we won't get one of those this weekend.
Stay tuned. Guess we won't.
Tell it in 20 seconds.
20 seconds? Do I have 20 seconds to just talk about that steamy car kiss? She climbed on top of him.
Yeah, with the Tony's Pizza guy behind them in the pass out. That was steamy, man. It was nice.
I liked it. It was very cute, and she was clever. She's a clever bird. So I give this one all of my thumbs, my cat's thumbs, my husband's thumbs, everybody's thumbs are up.
My husband's not there, but that's fine.
He's not.
Yeah, I agree. I put this thing in I honestly, going into the weekend, Santa Summit was my number one. It's still number one. This is my number two. So my 1 and 2 are Santa Claus connected. So there you have it.
Here's the thing, Kevin, this isn't about the movie. This is about the fans who are just livid. They hated this. They thought it was, what is this? I turned it off right away. Hallmark's going to hell in a handbasket.
For real? Magic Santa. So again, we were told long ago, Hallmark does not like to do magical Santa stuff in this one. So is that why? I don't understand. Is that why?
They're not enjoying, because they also hated the Santa Summit. It's the same people. They're just like, where's the romance? What are these comedies? I don't understand laughter.
That you want romance? Watch that steamy kiss in the car and like, whoo, mama. Oh
yeah.
I didn't miss another dead person, right? Now, Catch Me If You Claus didn't have any dead.
No,
people.
it didn't have any dead people, did it?
I don't believe so.
Wait a minute.
She talked to her mom, and her dad was not in the picture, but he was like there. So I don't believe so. And then Santa Claus is Chris's father.
Yeah,
So
I usually have the dead person written down. I don't have it written down.
we did pretty good. We did pretty good. No body count on that one, which is so that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Santa, on Friday at 6 o'clock, the dead hour, when no one wants to watch anything, they put on arguably the worst movie they've done all year.
Oh, no.
Letters to Santa, when young siblings receive a magic pen. You remember, if you go back to when Chris and I previewed everything, this I was the most excited for. A magic freaking pen.
Magic pen? Kevin, what a letdown.
How do you mess this up? When young siblings receive a magic pen from Santa that appears to be granting wishes, they request a Christmas gift they want more than anything for their separated parents to reunite. Directed by John Stimson, who directed A Cape Cod Christmas, and written by Danielle and John Artigo, who are a married couple who write a lot of television. This stars Kate LeClerc, who was in A Cape Cod Christmas, and I am definitely, well, I think I can do this one. Rafael de la Fuente from the Dynasty reboot. So this is their first Hallmark film.
My aunt texted me today.
Yeah.
And said, did you watch, because she knows I watch these. There's a bug in my house. Did you watch Letters? I'm going to do her accent. Wait, where is it? Oh, God. Oh, God. Did you watch Letters to Santa? Because I didn't like it, but that man was very hot.
I don't disagree with that at all.
And I was like, you are correct, Andrea. You are correct. Garbage film. He was lovely.
Yeah. It's rough, man. First of all, there's the expression, don't work with kids, don't work with animals. They worked with both. But there is a scene in which the son is sitting on the couch with a dog, and he's doing a great job because that dog wants to do anything else. And then Raphael starts to also kind of pet the dog to calm him down, which was great. It was like, oh, they're really in tune. And it was early enough in the film. This thing, I got to tell you, man, part of me was like, I don't want them to get back together.
No, they were the worst communicators. Like all of this, what? You give what? That kind of money to your mom's restaurant and you're not allowed to tell your wife why? Are you banana boats bonkers?
I think he would not tell you, like, he's a buffoon, like the character, not the actor.
Yeah.
But like they also have the outsider coming in to it's basically they're trying to make a farce, and they didn't. And so they have the Zumba instructor who comes in to be the new GM
come on.
If young lady comes in, so that's supposed to get his attention. So they do the same for her. What's good for the goose, right? They do the same for her, and they bring in now. And when I say this, please understand, I think John Oliver is one of the funniest people in the world. Nobody is putting him in a beauty pageant, including John Oliver. We're supposed to get hot and bothered for Liam here. This is not
No, but the Zumba lady did. She called him Hot Liam.
Liam. Yeah, and it's like, listen, they're going to work out, and they do. They undoubtedly do, but it had so many problems. And I think the thing that drove me crazy is if you want to watch a movie, a really, really, really good movie about divorce, a family going through divorce, but having a happy ending without the couple getting back together, watch Mrs. Doubtfire. If you want to watch a Christmas movie about divorce with a couple that watch Mrs. Doubtfire, but drink eggnog. Like, I don't know what
this. Oh my God.
They do get back to their spoiler, but they both are just.
Leave in the comments below if you also hated it, and if you loved it, like, don't tell us why. Because
Tell us why. We want to know. You while we have 1 minute and 15 seconds left.
I'm done. I'm finished. Thank you so much. The dog was cute.
Dog was very cute, very cute. You think we are just off our rockers and want to tell us that, you can email us at remarktheshow@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. Please follow us here, subscribe here on YouTube, like and subscribe, share, tell your friends.
Share. Click.
Watch these movies for you. Some of them are good.
What's next? Oh, do you want to hear something fun?
Yeah.
This Friday's debut of Hallmarkable at Comedy Sports Philadelphia had a big city publicist go to small town to try and find out who a mystery best-selling novelist was. They fell in love, and she ended up moving her publishing company to the small town so she could be with him, make babies, and sell his books.
Was there a magic pen?
No, but there were magic people.
I needed the pen. That's all the time. That takes us to Friday night at 8:00. Holiday Road is the name of the film. This description is epically long. I'm going to read it, but I'm not going to start the time. You don't think I need to?
I don't think you need to.
We're not going to talk about the plot too much. So I feel like, I forgot, in the last movie, Kristin, why was the restaurant struggling a little bit that Raphael's character had to give the money?
Dad alert!
Whoo! Almost forgot. Goodness.
Up by 2.
Holiday Road. Hang in there, folks. We might have some dead people in this one. When bad weather leaves each of these people stranded at the airport for the holidays, a tech entrepreneur, a travel writer, a devoted mother, and her son, a stubborn senior, an enigmatic woman with a hint of mystery, a couple traveling from Hong Kong, and a social media influencer all agree to share a rented van to embark on a road trip to Denver. When their unexpected journey brings them into uncharted territory, they navigate a series of misadventures together and form a deeper bond that just might change the trajectory of each of their lives, inspired by true events. Directed by Martin Wood, A Christmas Proposal, and a lot of upcoming stuff, including Holidays. And Gina Matthews is the writer, who also has the upcoming Holidays, starring Sarah Canning from Christmas at the Golden Dragon and Warren Christie from Crashing Through the Snow. Kristin Finger, let it rip.
Listen, I'm a big fan of this woman, Sarah Canning. I'm a big Vampire Diaries fan. For those friends out there, it was cute to see her again. I loved this, and I almost didn't, because I thought at first that blogger lady was gonna drive me bonkers.
Yeah, me too.
Then I understand that was her character arc, that we needed to be annoyed. Like, overly annoyed by her to understand how much she cared about what other people thought, to then learning to not as much. What an ensemble cast, Kevin. We love an ensemble cast. We also love van karaoke.
Oh yeah, we do. Where you
Oh my God.
sing. Yep.
I died when the Hong Kong couple was singing and then they started rapping. I was like, stop. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
So good. Yeah, I did. I love that they were in a big Sprinter van. So as soon as she said, I have a karaoke machine, and she started singing, they stood up. And whenever anybody would sing in the van, they would stand up. And I thought, that's not safe.
That's not safe. They were not on a safe road trip at all, because whoever was driving was always like, yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. No one was looking at the road.
A lot of people took turns, but not everybody. We had some suspended licenses in there, and
Yeah.
a young man who we never really figured out how old he was. I think he was supposed to be
17 or 18, because he was going to college the next year.
Okay, but he seems at times like he was in his 20s. It was just,
I know, it was very confusing. And I also was like, does he have a crush on the social media chick?
he wanted to hug people. I think he just had like, yeah, keep an eye on him.
I mean, he was adopted, right? Spoiler.
He was, yeah. So that kind of brings in what you were saying. Like we find out at some point that he was adopted, which is cool. And their whole trek is he's going to meet his birth mother, and it's causing a lot of anxiety for his mother, who really set all this up. And then he starts to feel some of the anxiety. Yeah, man, it was way better. This was one of the ones. There were two this weekend. I was like, if I don't watch them, watch them. And this was
one of them.
But I did. I watched it, and I really am glad I did. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very.
First of all, also big Supernatural fan. So when Kevin Tran showed up at the end as the Hong Kong couple's son, I literally yelled, "Kevin Tran's here!" It was very fun. The other thing is, oh my God, when we learned that what's his face's daughter Annie was dead.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't handle it, Kevin. I started crying so much.
That was a great. I mean, we listen. We don't want to do this one, but we have to. We are contractually obligated to say "dead daughter alert." But it's there. I blame Mike. If you don't like that one, it was Mike makes us do that. He just can't defend himself. It was funny because it was one that I didn't quite understand how much was left to the movie when they got to their final destination. And then I looked, and there was like 20 minutes left. And I was like, what
are we doing?
What's happening here? And then when he's the last person dropped off by Clay, Warren Christie's character, and Dana, Sarah Canning's character, he's the last person dropped off. And he's like, you just dropped me off here. And it's like on the side of the road. And I was like, yeah, he's going to see a dead. Oh, he goes, I'm going to see my daughter. And I was like, his daughter is dead. And he walks into a graveyard. And I was like, no.
Forget it. Big question, though. Why did he have that wad of cash? Did we ever learn why he had it?
We didn't, but that's enough time, so we can't talk about it. No,
I need to know why he had that cash.
He was retired. And he worked in energy. He didn't want to specify, but he was very closed off on stuff. So I just think it was a guy who probably traveled around and didn't necessarily trust banks and stuff.
Mattress money guy.
Money's exactly it. So, and then he ends up giving that money to one of the women
who stole it.
Well, she originally stole it, and then he ultimately gives it to her so she can kind of start her life with her daughter, Grace, which was a nice moment when she's using Grace. This movie was definitely worth your time.
I think so. I told my aunt to watch it.
Yeah. You said don't watch the Penn one, but watch this. Mm-hmm. We did have a dead body. I think that was really the only, we have a bad heart alert, but I don't think.
Was not expecting that to be. I know this is a terrible thing to say, but I was expecting it to be a lot worse.
Yeah.
I thought she was just going to be dead by the end of the movie.
Me too. I thought that too. And then when she's like, I was born with a,
and I was like, girl, just manage your life.
She did.
Manage your life.
But it made sense because, her parents kept her like a boy in the bubble situation where she couldn't do stuff as a kid. She's like, I'm not living this life. So
if I got to be a girl in a bubble with the Jake Gyllenhaal boy in a bubble, I wouldn't complain.
yeah. What if you were, isn't Boy in the Bubble, is that Jake Gyllenhaal?
It's Jake Gyllenhaal in the comedy of it, but John Travolta is the like serious one.
Yeah. Okay.
I would pick Jake Gyllenhaal.
And Jay Underwood was the boy who could fly because that popped in my head some reason. Yeah, so Christmas in Notting Hill was on Saturday at 6:00. Famous soccer star Graham Savoy has always been too busy for love. But when he comes home to Notting Hill for Christmas, he changes his mind after meeting Georgia, a visiting American, and the one person who has no idea who he is. Directed by Ali Liebert, who we absolutely adore. Ali directed The Holiday Sitter and the upcoming Time for Her to Come Home. It was written by Alex Yonks, Candy Coated Christmas, and stars Sarah Ramos from Kismet Christmas, William Moseley from The Royals. Kristin, start talking right when I hit this button. Go.
One of my favorite lines of this movie was when she was telling one of the kids that she teaches that she was going to London, and they were like, that's where Harry Styles lives. And I was like, I'm in. This movie's fantastic. Also, I'm a sucker for a soccer player. Football if you're from London.
Yeah. And they do the football or soccer jokes.
It's fine. What a dream boat this guy was. Like, I was never mad at him. He was a little bit of a whiny bitch, but I was never mad at him.
His career was coming to an end. So
it was coming to an end. It was very Roy Kent, right? Like, I felt like I was watching Ted Lasso through half of this
reference literally of Roy Kent. Yeah.
Also, they did an in-sync dance. The sisters had an in-sync holiday dance, which I loved. And the other thing that I do have a question about, Kevin, do you have a question?
I have a comment. I wanted to say, I thought of this morning in the shower because I oftentimes say you cannot dance to Christmas music. I, of course, mean slow dance. That in sync dance, totally
That's different.
Totally fine. I was down with that. That was good.
Okay. Let Mike know, because he's
you know
keeping a record of things you hate. So the other thing that I was like, wait a minute, what? Was when she went inside a stranger's house.
I know. And he goes, oh, it's fine. I'm not creepy or anything. And she's like, okay.
Like,
I was like,
the
really?
fact that you say that, like, I'm so sorry. I get it. We're in this bubble of Hallmark, so it's safe, right? This is this world we're creating. But I don't want some like woman to be like, oh, great. If I go to London and some hot guy breaks my ornament, I'm going to his house. Don't go to his house.
How Jack used to do it. He broke ornaments and then got you in his house.
This also was a little nutty because it was like the sister was dating the brother of the sister's former roommate who then were engaged, and so that was a bit.
Listen, I didn't mind that. And I'm actually wearing a Hawaiian shirt in honor of the father, because the father who shows up halfway through the movie, and when he does, they keep him away from everyone else. Like it almost felt like he was going through COVID protocol.
Maybe.
Like talk about him, he was on the phone, but they didn't have him.
Oh, interesting.
And when he got there, just he and his daughters went sightseeing, so you got to see a lot of London at Christmas, which was awesome. One of the things he was saddled with was the task of bringing something to London with him. Do you remember what that was, Kristin?
It was someone's sock.
Someone's stocking, I believe. Yeah.
But she's no longer with us because we've got a dead mom alert.
We do. We also, so I thought the actor was fine. I thought they gave her very little to work with because she would fly off the handle at the craziest things that I said to my wife, I think she's supposed to be bipolar. Like, it was really weird why she would get so upset and so angry at something that seemed pretty trivial. And then bigger things, she was kind of like that ornament situation could have devastated her because she ornament that it was very similar to one her mom had made. The woman's like, it's one of a kind, you'll never find, and immediately breaks it. She's like, oh, well, let me go into this guy's house with him. And it was just like, okay, she's pretty even-keeled human being.
But then she was insane when her sister was like, I'm going to get engaged.
Well, but I'm older than you. I should get engaged first. And it was like, we're doing this because this didn't like who these characters were.
No, I didn't know. I didn't like her character. I liked the sister a lot. I also now have a crush on that actress. I like Googled her and I was like, you look really good with a shaved head, because in some point in your life she had a shaved head. Anyway, but I do love this dude.
Yeah, he was great. And he did. He more than we're in overtime, but we're taking it. We can do this because in soccer you get like added time. That's what
we're taking penalty kicks right now.
No, it's added time because of all the injuries we had along the way. We got injured a lot doing this episode.
No, but at some point there's no overtime. Okay, keep going.
Oh, you're talking about like a sudden death situation.
Yeah,
no, we're not.
I played soccer too, Kevin. I know you coach it.
Yeah, I don't know softball. I don't coach softball. What do I know about soccer?
I thought Kit played soccer too. Anyway,
a lot of pop culture. To your point about the dance, and there are references to Gilmore Girls in this. There's references to Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively in this. So there's a lot of fun stuff. There's a lot of Ted Lasso. Like there is a point where they almost break down the entire series of Ted Lasso. It was very funny.
I was like, she went for it. Okay.
This was, if you don't have an Apple Plus account, this was kind of like, you can just do this. It's fine.
Just watch Ted Lasso's Christmas episode. It's better.
I don't remember, was his dad dead?
Yes.
Was, right?
Yes. His dad died because he's only half brother with the dude.
Nice. I mean, not nice. I did like that he gave her the jersey.
Because they bonded.
Yeah. And the dad was great. I really did dig the dad.
I did, and I loved the two dads becoming the best of friends in one evening of drinking together.
Yeah, it's funny. It was British, but it felt very Irish, and I did.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess I would say watch this because that guy, the soccer player, I really liked him, but the woman, I didn't care for her character at all.
This is probably a one and done. I don't see ever watching it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Beautiful shots of London.
The only thing I might watch it again because he's really hot.
Okay, I can't wait for.
Like if it's on, I'll watch it.
Okay, you don't have to walk out of the room. Just her scenes. 8:00 Saturday, November 25th. We had the sequel, follow up to Haul Out the Holly. The
Holly.
As the holidays approach, Emily and Jared are looking forward to celebrating the holidays together again, this time as a couple. Emily, now embracing Evergreen Lane's unique, festive spirit, is ready to work with Jared, Ned, Mary Louise, and Pamela to make this year's Christmas celebrations the best yet. Yeah. Even if being the HOA president's girlfriend doesn't stop those dreaded decorating citations, which they did. She didn't get one citation. So that's misleading. Don't do that. When a house on the block goes up for sale, it causes quite a stir with residents when the soon-to-be neighbors turn out to be holiday royalty. It looks like this year's competition is about to heat up. As the welcoming committee prepares for the new arrivals, only one thing is certain this Christmas. Evergreen Lane is going to slay.
Oh!
It's directed by McLean Nelson, who directed the first Haul Out the Holly, and we just saw last week in Heidelberg Holiday, and written by Christopher Say, who wrote something called You Baking Me Crazy, which I dig the name of that.
What?
Listen, there's so many people in this. We have Lacey Chabert. We have Wes Brown. We have Stephen Tobolewski. We have Ellen Travolta. We have Melissa Peterman. We have Seth Morris. What's our connection there?
He was my 301 teacher at the Upright Citizens Brigade in 2001.
And we have Jennifer Aspen. No connection. Who
was my 401?
No, that's not true. Can we say at the very beginning of this, no? Well, I'm going to officially say no dead bodies, only because
no, there wasn't.
We know that Wes Brown's character's father, Jared's dad, is dead,
right,
but we learned that in the last movie, so that doesn't count in this one.
Doesn't count. Are
you ready, Kristin, for 4 minutes of this beauty? It's going to go over time. Hit it.
my first thing I have to talk about is Mary Louise's glittery bow sweater. Where did she get it? How can I get it? Hallmark hook me up. Number two that I'd like to talk about is, I think, hot chocolate. I've got a hot chocolate for you inside means sexy time to Jared and Emily. Did you realize that in that one moment?
Oh, but now you're right.
It was really funny. I was like, I think that's code for sexy time.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I'm too tired. He's like, are you sure? Because I got
chocolate. And she's like, no hot chocolate. Hot chocolate time is, yeah.
Hot
and
chocolate? No.
Right.
She's like, it's way past hot chocolate time. And he's like, are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
he can make a hot chocolate for himself. This is what happens, Mike. This is what happens when you're not here.
What happens. What I am here to say is that the internet hated the neighbors.
Yeah.
And I think they don't understand movies.
Yeah.
Where when characters are supposed to be hated, you're going to hate them and they're going to annoy you. That's the point of the movie, you ding-dongs. Of course the acting was over the top by that family. Are you kidding me? Like, oh my God. The woman was the worst. And I actually liked the way that Seth Morris treated this dude. It reminded me of like one of the Ernest movie, like sort of like, I don't know. He just reminded me of someone that was like seemingly dumb, but really was not.
But everything was
that was fun.
Every word out of his mouth was a humble brag every time. Yeah. It was great.
And I one thing I'm mad about.
Yeah.
Ned Ryerson.
Oh, I know. I was very disappointed that he jumped ship. Although Jared did his Bing line. Did you notice that?
Bing.
He went Bing, and I was like, "Oh, that's so great." But yeah, he was a traitor, and traders lose their walkie-talkies, and I thought that was great. And when he earned it back, and you could see how much it meant to him, I thought that was great too. My issue with this movie was we did not have Christopher Palala in it, and I just wanted him in one quick little scene, and I would have been fine, but he wasn't, and that was a bummer to me.
I couldn't remember who he
I believe
cameoed because I thought he was her husband, and in this one that box was in front and then it was not him, and I was like, wait, who's that guy? Yeah,
no, he was not her husband. That was, I forget his name. He's in he might be in the Evergreen series. He's in one of the series. No, I think he was the family that moved away, and that's why the house became available. But I still was like, really? Like I just when he showed up last year, it was such a surprise, and it on par with Will Kemp showing up in Merry Scottish Christmas, because he was in a lot. Like, they did a great job. McLean Nelson did a great job of making sure he was peppered in scenes from here on out in the movie, so it felt like, he's a presence. He's here.
Yeah.
So that was
this was also the movie that all agrees with Kevin and I that Die Hard is a Christmas movie 1000%, and referenced it so many times, and I loved it. I will say, sometimes when I know movies are just going to be about battling against each other, I get bored.
Yeah.
So like I got not like bored, but I was like, all right, come on, all right.
I'm gonna get rid of it's over here. I'm gonna get rid of the time. There, you can keep talking.
Just gonna, I don't know. I do like that the kids were why they all realized, oh crap.
Yeah.
The worst.
I thought about it a lot. This is definitely, did this movie need to be made? No. Do any of these movies need to be made? Probably not. Am I glad the movie was made? Maybe. I mean, it was fine. It's, as much as I love the original, I didn't feel that way about this one, but I didn't not like it. At no point was I actively not liking the film. I just wanted a little bit more, kind of to your point, like it felt like in improv, we talk about and I think we've said this before, don't talk about stuff, do
Yeah,
it. And
do
they do
it.
a lot of talking about what they're, which is what honestly, what an HOA is. Like they just talk. They talk a lot. They don't, and they implement stuff, but then they usually just implement something once and then it just stands over top forever. And it's, so I was, I wanted something new. And when her parents come back, part of the Die Hard, I loved it. I was so excited for it because I was like, this has to happen. But it kind of, the fact that they had already called them on the phone took away from a little bit of that.
It did. They should have just showed up.
And they did the silver and
When
gold.
they did silver and gold. Yeah.
Up, and that was it. It almost felt like they're like, hey, we have to remind people who they are or establish who they are if you've never seen this. So when they show up and her, Lacey goes to give her dad a hug and he pushes her out of the way and takes the envelope, it was like, it would have been so much better if that's the first time I've seen him since last year.
I also just think that it was hard to pull off that moment where they went over to write the Johnsons all those citations, and then they were like, okay, well, what happens if we don't fix the things?
Also,
well, and then, well, what happens if we don't do, well, there was no stakes. And I think that was the trouble in the writing of it, was that it's like, yeah, you can't boot someone out of your cul-de-sac. What if they were Jewish? Like, you know what I mean?
It's funny because they had a rule written in that said, if you don't want to participate, you don't have to. And then the father said, if somebody's, I forget what they said, like if they're not healthy,
not able. Yeah.
Like that's great. But what if they're Jewish? What if they're atheists? I'm an atheist, but I celebrate.
I just whatever.
So
whatever. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas.
To your point, Chris, it did. It felt like
there were no stakes to nothing. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it mattered to the people, but because they went over and were like, I just don't think then that should have been written in. Like, well, then what? Well, then what?
I know. I will say though, Ellen Travolta steals every scene she's in. And when one of the contests they're having is a Christmas rapping contest, so she buys Eminem's Christmas album because she thinks they mean that kind of rap. And then somebody says, she goes, I'm really good now. And somebody goes, prove it. And then she lays down these beats. It was so good, man. I was like, yep.
It was really good. It was, and the woman that plays Pamela, Melissa something, is
Melissa Peterman.
Is a star. Is a star.
Well, she and Steven Tobolowsky just go. I can only imagine how much they laughed in each other's face.
Oh my God, yeah.
Go at each other.
So it was very enjoyable when they actually realized they were as devious as each other in that moment. Like when they were looking out the window, I was like, this is fun.
That brings us to, I almost said tonight because Chris and I are recording this on Sunday night. So that brings us to Sunday night.
Sunday night. Tomorrow.
I know at 6:00. It's almost tomorrow. I'm looking at my time. We have our Christmas mural. We have Olivia, a single mom, returns home for Christmas. Her mom secretly enters her into a mural contest. She wins, but partners with teacher Will to create a Christmas masterpiece. Directed by Tara Johns, director of The Year Dolly Parton Was My Mom. I got to see that movie. That sounds awesome. And written by Alan Donahue, who wrote Most Colorful Time of the Year. This stars Alex Paxton Beasley from The Holiday Swap and Dan Jonot from A Royal Nanny. It's funny. Yes, I thought he was hot, but I'm going to say something in a bit, and you're going to be like, no, because you think he's hot, and we'll see. Chris, your initial thoughts for 4 minutes. Go.
We were going to skip this one.
I know.
And then I got home from rehearsal, and I was like, I'll start it. And if I don't get to finish, I'll just skip. And that way I can start Biltmore. But I enjoyed it. And I was so shocked. I think I enjoyed it because this guy was really hot. And he sort of looks like a blend of Ryan from The Office and Jake Gyllenhaal.
And a little bit of Joe Sabatino, friend of ours.
Oh, no.
His playfulness. So started off, the first time you see him, he's just smiling at her and she's smiling at him.
Oh my God, I loved it.
And I was like, they must know each other, and they
Why
don't.
not? They don't.
I found that really refreshing because as much as like
Yes.
talk about, it's cool that you jump right in and people know each other. The fact that it wasn't like, oh, we gotta get this out of the. Olivia's a single mom because obviously
What?
you got a dead husband alert. Also father, however you want to look at it, dead dad alert. So we know that her husband has been gone for a couple years, the old couple years.
2 to 3.
And so she sees this guy, she smiles at him, he smiles at her. That's it. And they go their separate ways until they meet back at the paint store, and she knocks something over trying to hide from him. I don't know why she was trying to hide.
I don't know why she was trying to hide from him. My only assumption can be she doesn't know how to flirt because it's been 2 to 3 years since her husband died.
Well, she had been married too during.
Right. So I think she's like, I gave attention to this dude. What if he does come over and start talking to me now? That's the reason I assumed she fumbled and broke the basket of things.
She broke the store, and then he comes over to help. But in doing that, he picks up paint she'd been holding, and he goes, "Oh, I was looking for this," and he takes it and puts it in his basket. And I was like, "That is a Joe Sabatino move."
That is a Joe Sabatino move if I've ever seen one, and he wouldn't let it go.
Yeah, but I assure you, that's what our friend Joe would have done.
And I think that's also, it just says a lot about Kristin. He was so, oh no, do I love Joe Sabatino? Because he was so sarcastically an asshole that I was like, oh my God, I love him.
But he was mean or mean.
No, it was sarcastic. That's what I'm saying. So it was like, I just love quoting the Nick Miller line of like, quit being so mean to me. I'm going to fall in love with you. Like, that's my.
Yeah. This is sweet, man. So she's going to paint this big mural. He's not the mayor, but he's like the head of he should have been
community center.
Yeah, he was awesome. I forget what the character was, but he was. What was it?
Cody.
Yes, he was so great, and he had his own problems, like Olivia's best friend, and he had gone on a date, and he had to run out because he was hosting a bingo night, but he stuck her with the bill and didn't talk to her again because he felt so bad. And I was just
where's their spinoff? Like what?
Absolutely, and it's there's a lot to do with art therapy in this, so
yeah, that was cool.
It was definitely like you said, Chris, it was the one we were going to skip. I will admit, I had the Eagles game on while I was watching it. I had an earbud in watching the movie, and I would just
so confusing.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was, listen, I needed a distraction for that game. They won, but it was a roughie. But yeah, it was a sweeter movie than I expected it to be, and I'm glad I made the time to watch it.
I'll tell you, I didn't cry, but I almost did. When they were having that conversation of like, he's like, I wouldn't be a good, that's not for me. And she was like, why? And his answer is like literally killed me because I haven't applied how my dad died to not having children, but I've applied it to, wait a minute. That's right. His dad died. Back to my dad dying. Terrible. No, his answer was literally like also why I was like, oh, I don't need to find love. I don't need to marry someone because I don't want to lose them. Like that's how I've like treated love my whole entire life. And I just thought that was a nice moment. I liked it.
I also agree that what she said was nice because she kind of was like, are great with kids, and then she immediately says, look, you make your own choice. And like she didn't say those words, but she basically was like, I didn't mean to say the kids, because like that's a shit thing to say to a person, because like again, people have their reasons. And so, but there was a lot of that this whole weekend where there were situations and people, their responses with each other felt most often very thoughtful and kind, and it was nice. It was a little exception here and there, but for the most part, it was a pretty solid weekend.
This kid was cute. A really good actor. He was sweet.
Of somebody, and I don't know who.
I know he does remind me of somebody. His voice too.
Yeah, he was a sweet kid.
So the only thing I thought was dumb was when she took out the paintbrush at the end and was like, I want to paint you inside this terrible mural.
Paint yourself.
again with the bad art. If we're gonna, and I feel so bad because I'm so like, come on. Her sketches were better than what she put on that wall.
The wall was fine because they mostly did a wide shot, but at the end when they pushed in on that, it was like, you don't need to show that.
Don't push it on that. It's bad. It's bad.
I did like when he was teaching the one art class and everyone's doing the reindeer and they all had different takes and he was so complimentary to everyone. It just made me think of like a nude model in the front of the room.
If he's like, all right, class is dismissed, and like takes his reindeer out of class.
That brings us to the last movie of the weekend, which most likely you could say was kind of like their flagship film.
Yeah. Penultimate.
Well, it's the ultimate for the weekend. It's the last one.
What does penultimate mean?
One before the ultimate. So that would have been the mural this weekend.
Are you kidding me? That's what that means?
Penultimate is the second to last. Yeah.
The more you know.
A Biltmore Christmas. Lucy Hardgrove, played by Beth Joy Lenz, as a screenwriter who lands the job of a lifetime when she's hired to pen the script for a remake of the beloved holiday movie, His Merry Wife. First film.
Did you say It's a Wonderful Life?
19. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's same year, 1947.
And It's a Merry Wife sounds like It's a Wonderful Life.
Is a merry wife. It's a wonderful life.
It's a wonderful life. Sorry, keep going.
First filmed in 1947 at the beautiful historic Biltmore house. When the head of the studio isn't satisfied with the ending Lucy wrote because it deviates from the original feel-good conclusion, he sends Lucy to the Biltmore estates to research and for inspiration. While there, she unwittingly discovers the ability to travel to 1947. Set of his a merry wife through the of an hourglass. After shaking up, this reminds me of the clock in Timeless Christmas. While there, she unwittingly discovered. Oh no, I said that. After shaking up the initial shock of this turn of events, Lucy embraces this as her chance to uncover this truth about the movie's original ending. While on set, she and Jack Houston, played by Christopher Palala, one of the film stars, spend time together and become close, but her sudden appearance has set off a chain of events that put the production in jeopardy. Before she can return to the present, Lucy...
This is the longest description you've ever said in your life.
She must make things right or threaten to alter the future forever. Directed by John Hutch, a holiday spectacular director, and written by Marcy Holland, who has written all of the Time for Blank to Come Home movies, starring Bethany Joy Lenz from An Unexpected Christmas, Christopher Palala from We Wish You a Merry Christmas, and of course, Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek Next Generation.
And Unsolved Mysteries.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
Didn't he do the new one?
Not Unsolved Mysteries. What did he do? He did like the files where he's like, have you ever been home and a intruder comes? What is that show that he did?
He does security system commercials.
No.
He did the alien autopsy thing too. Kristin.
Yeah.
Let her rip.
Well, Kevin, I hope that only for this 4 minutes that we can both do our Jimmy Stewart impersonations and only talking mid-Atlantic chat, you sly dog, you.
Let me know when you're going to start doing it.
Oh my God. Listen.
Yeah.
I was texting Keith costumes.
So good.
Wowie kazow, wow.
Best costumes Hallmark has done to date.
I want so many coats. And here's something I do have a question about. Was the lighting weird? Did Christopher Paloha go tanning just on his face?
When she changed where she was in time, the lighting changed. And then the color,
Okay.
a little bit more technicolory in those times.
Yeah, it was just like, it made their skin look weird. Not
Yeah.
the colors of anything else, but I just like, sometimes skin looked weird. And I was like,
Your TV.
But also, why the heck were they talking like this when they weren't shooting the pictures, babe? No one talked like this in real life. They just put this accent on for the pictures. So that's not accurately correct.
So I said the same thing to Julie, and she said, well, she said it was newscasters and actors did that. It's that weird mid-Atlantic thing. And she said, and people did do it to some extent. So people in the business, especially a young person like Rita Hayworth, Ava Gardner.
You mean Katharine Hepburn didn't really talk? You're getting so many impersonations.
The names were great because they were like amalgamations.
Yeah.
People, but
I enjoyed this because what I really liked is that she could go back and forth for a bit. That was cool. And that she wasn't just stuck immediately. That's what I really liked about it, because then she had this other connection on the other side. It was this wonderful, silly woman.
Yeah, Fran that she had met. Yeah, I agree. And also going back to talking about raising stakes and such, this thing had stakes because at first it didn't. It was like, oh, she can just jump back and forth. And then she gets startled and she drops the mechanism that's letting her jump back and forth. And all of a sudden it's like, well, you don't have it anymore. So now you can't jump back and forth. I will say this about Hallmark. Oftentimes their flagship movie, and this is, again, it's probably the flagship movie of the whole season.
I think so. They were like, here's where we put the budget.
Yeah. And you saw it. Like it was
my God. Yeah.
Costumes, the music, like it had a very Back to the Future, like orchestral feel for time travel when came into the new time, going back to 1947. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And a lot of times when they push those movies, I don't. Like I feel like
right
on the table, or you could see where like, oh, we didn't have budget anymore for this. This one felt like they were like, no, we're putting the money into this movie, and it was there. And I really enjoyed it.
I did.
We've talked in the past about this. Bethany Joy Lenz is one of the best actors that they have.
Yeah.
She brings something that is, and Christopher Palala is awesome.
Awesome.
Go anytime. We're
fantastic. And here's the thing, like that, I think that was also why it worked so well. Was Bethany Joy Lenz has this ease about her. And Christopher Palloha had to be this Jimmy Stewart, Cary Grant type of person, which can be overdone. But the balance between the two of them, I thought was quite lovely. And we had a cameo.
We did have a cameo
too. And before I get into these, I forgot to mention our friend Benjamin Ayers was in the art one.
Yes, in the mural. You know, he sounded different and he had glasses on that I had to double check it was him. So I was like, let me his Instagram account, and clearly it was him.
Yeah. So let us know next time, you son of a gun. We'll be ready for you.
See, there's the accent.
There it is. But yeah, we got Wes Brown and Rachel Boston. I loved it because they made a checking into Christmas reference.
Yeah, this will be better than checking into Christmas, he says. Wes Brown says.
This is very funny. This is very funny. But oh my God. That I love, I thought it was really cool that she was like, I have to tell you're gonna die. Blah, 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 blah. But then
very Back to the Future.
Time travel did its thing. And it was like, what?
So I do want to talk about that briefly because I was fine with that. I thought, what a cool, because my fear was he gave her his watch. And my fear was this, that earlier we saw her sister talking to her and like, I have this guy I want you to meet. She's like, oh, I don't want to meet any of you. And she's like, no, I think you'll really hit it off with this guy. We should get together New Year's or whatever. And then when she's in 1947, he says something about
New Year's.
Get together in New Year's. I was like, man, if they do this thing where he jumps into modern years, and I was just like, don't do that. Don't. And they didn't.
They didn't.
I'm not writing for Hallmark. Maybe I should be. I agree. But we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
But I said this to Julie, no, you're totally wrong. And I know I'm totally wrong but he supposedly dies on Christmas Eve, 1948. That's a year after the movie is, well, it's a year after the party that we see. So the movie, almost a year after the movie's made. And he tells, when she says that, he says, that's the cover story we used in case I went missing. And I'm not going to get into the whole, like, the way time travel is written in, there are different ways that time travel can happen. Like there are different philosophies of time travel in film or in stories. So the idea is that this one, basically, it always happened that he faked his death and came to this time. That was always going to happen because she.
Yeah.
But that's where they should have ended. I would have been fine with that. Them kissing, that's the end of the movie. But instead, we have Jonathan Frakes shows back up and he puts the hourglass into a case sideways, which my wife said that's so that the time can never, and I agree with that, as long as they store it that way. It's very Ark of the Covenant in Indiana Jones. Put it away, puts it under his arm, and starts to walk away and starts whistling the same song that Jack Houston, that Christopher Palala's character, would always whistle. And I was like, wait a minute. Are they trying to tell us that he is
a time traveler? That's how he knows all the behind the scenes stuff about the movie. Kevin, you cracked the case. He's just a guy that was there when the movie was made. Maybe one of the kids that got given that time thingy under the Christmas tree from the family of the Biltmores. Oh my God, we've cracked it.
We did crack it. Else I wouldn't mind cracking.
Was that
some hot dude?
Dudes. Oh my God, we're back for some hot dude talk, and we got 8, count them 8 hot dudes. I don't remember. Kevin, what's the first dude's name?
You like this guy. His name is Brandon Penny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Besides, listen, he can wear a sweater. He has a whisper of gray. Check. And there's something about his voice that I find soothingly sexual.
Well, okay. All right. Why not? I agree with that too.
And I dig his vibe. Man. I'm giving him a 7.5.
Ooh, interesting. Listen, I'm not going to argue against that point too much. I have my issues with this character, obviously, I'd said. But everything he was doing was to protect his son.
Yeah.
Also to kind of protect his wife's memory, his deceased memory. So I'm fine with that. So I'm also going to give him a 7.5.
Okay. Penny, give us a call.
Then we have from Catch Me If You Claus, we have the great Luke McFarlane.
Stop the presses. This man was hilariously brilliant, and he's just real pretty too. And I liked that. I think I'm really liking these movies where they take place in like a span of hours, so we don't get a ton of costume changes.
I agree.
So him just in that tight fitted, like whitish shirt with the Santa stuff on, like my bells were jingling. And
Kristin, are you talking about this Christmas McFarlane picture that I have up, or this guy also dressed as Santa? Because you know him. He's on this podcast with you. I put up the picture of me from Assassins.
Oh, I'm familiar. Well, he also has a whisper of gray. So I don't know. I think I'm going to give him, because he was absolutely fantastic the entire movie. So encouraging. He's going to be like a great Santa. A 9.
Oh, you're higher than me. I like him a lot. There are times I just want there not to be conflict. This is one of those ones that I almost want a sequel to, because I want to see that relationship going further. That could be. Make your case for the 9. I was going to give him a snowman. I was going to give him an 8, but give me an argument and maybe I'll bring it up.
The kiss in the truck.
How steamed up it? Yeah, I'll give him a 9. 9. You did it, Chris. You did it. Who else did it? But not in the movie. Rafael de la Fuente from Letters to Santa.
I didn't like this guy in the movie. I didn't like him. I didn't like that he wouldn't tell his wife what a goob.
Yep.
What a goob. And he was just, I didn't like this movie. I didn't like the cut of this guy's jib too much. I do like the look of his face. I would run my fingers through his hair. And I don't usually like longer hair on dudes, but his was somehow gorgeous.
Okay.
5.7.
Oh, listen,
And that's all from looks.
I wish I could give them all from looks. I was irritated with some stuff in this. Specifically, he had hurt his back, which is totally fine. I forget why. He was like moving boxes or something. His back hurt.
Oh, right. His neck. No, because his daughter fell asleep on him.
Oh, that's right. They were watching The Nutcracker. Horrible movie.
Terrible movie.
Well, this is a horrible movie too, but so his daughter fell asleep on him, which listen, I feel that pain when my daughter, when she was little, would fall. I would just be like, well, this is how I am now, because
that's me with my cat.
And then his wife says, I need to be at this book signing at 11. So can you pick up the kids at 10:30? He's like, yes. And then his car won't start. And I'm like, his back hurts and his car won't start. He's going to take like meds for the thing and not be able to wake up. And then that's what happened. Instead, he went to work, which drove me crazy. The hot Zumba instructor, who is the GM, goes, oh, I'll take you to the gym and I'll work that out for you. He's like, okay. And she does. And then his car won't start. So she'll go pick up the kids. So he's like, let me call my wife. And he drops his phone into the car. And I'm like, I don't like you, dude. You get a 4.
You can convince me. Knock mine down to a 4. I hated this guy.
I gave you a lot of.
So pretty.
Well, keep it where you're at then. What were you, a 5.7? Come to a 5.5. Nice even number.
5.5.
Then we have Holiday Road. And there's enough people in here to do multiple people, but let's just keep it to Warren Christie's character.
We'll keep it to Warren Christie. That's fine. That's fine. I think I remember him from something else that I liked the cut of his jib in too.
He's been in a handful of things.
Yeah. So we're meant to like believe that he's kind of a little bit of a diva at the top of this, and that he's selfish and blah 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 blah. But I didn't believe it for a second.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't hate him though, because I was like, just let the man order his coffee. He's probably lactose intolerant. I don't know. I don't know. He didn't like. I didn't get. My sleigh wasn't.
New England. It's okay.
Subject. So he gets like a 6 because I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I could see that. I think I'm a little bit higher. I liked that he very quickly warmed up and even said, this is the best road trip I've ever been on. And then they said, is this the only road trip you've ever been on? He said, yeah. But he warmed up to everyone incredibly quickly. And I didn't, at that moment, I felt like, yeah, this guy's not a bad dude. This is the one thing. So this is the one thing that could hurt him for points. We see him having food with somebody who's out of focus in the background.
That was the girl he was going to Denver for, because remember he said that he met her on the app he created. So that was who he was going to see. But so then he dropped everybody off and then he just left her.
That don't jingle no bells for me. That I'm going to stay with a 5 on this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
A lot of positives, but that's a huge
negative. Huge negative.
Oh, listen, if it was Corey standing, he's got to host a bingo. That I'd have been fine with.
Corey would have been fine.
Christmas Hill. We have our sweet Mosley. What's his name? William Mosley.
This is the soccer dude?
Ram Savoy. Yep.
9.9.
Whoa, no, you don't even need to.
I don't even need to talk about it, except for thank you, costumes, for putting him in the tightest of tight blue fitted shirts at the end of this. There's one moment where he goes to hug her and all of the muscles on his back show through the shirt.
That was his kit, wasn't it? That he was wearing?
No. Sorry. I guess it was like before the like a year later, they're playing soccer. It was like in the house.
Yeah.
I've also just had such a crush on soccer player bodies my entire life that this gentleman is very sexy. Also was in one of the Narnia. He was in the Narnia series.
Oh,
and he was I had a crush on him as like a kid.
yeah.
Like not a kid, but like, oh God, I think I was like 20 and I had a big crush on him and he was probably like 16 years old. But like, he's a good looking kid, man. 9.9. Kevin, go.
Old, and you were also 18 years old is where we're going with that. Yeah, man, he was very likable. Love that accent, my friends. Yeah, I'm not gonna be that high. I'm gonna go with an 8.5 on this one. 8.5.
That's pretty good for Kevin. That's pretty good.
Pretty
I
good.
feel like I don't want to like say this and then Mike be like, you don't know me, but I feel like Mike would have liked this guy, and I feel like Mike would have been in the 8s as well.
Yeah, I think Mike would have liked the movie. I think this is probably one of his favorites from the weekend. I don't know what Mike's gonna watch. We'll find out.
Yeah, he's only watching one.
I don't know. He's busy. He's in, where did we say? Seattle, Utah. I don't know.
I think he's in Spain.
I think he is in actually California now. I say that. Yeah. Watch Welcome to Wrexham, by the way. You will love it if you haven't already watched it, Kristin. If you like soccer,
It's on my list.
So good. All right. Out the Holly, Wes Brown.
Oh wow. Wes Brown! Those freckles. Oh my God, it's freckles.
9. Always a 9.
I'll give him a 9 too. I'll give him a 9. Even though he was a little dumb in the aspect of like, just grow a pair and tell these people they can't do what they're doing.
No, I'm okay with it because he had so much stress over the fact that he was preparing to that. No, I was fine with it.
No, he gets a 9. I mean, look at those freckles. Come on, those glasses. Woo!
All right. Did Jared get your jingling? And then we had Dan. We had Joe Sabatino. We had Dan.
Don't say that. It changes everything.
Christmas Mural. In the
Kevin, you go first.
Loved him in the Royal Nanny. I liked him a lot in this. He didn't really do much to not like, and the fact that he shared with this little kid who lost his father and had a lot of heart pain from that. He shared his own experience when he was, before even doing art therapy, they were in an art class, and he comes over to me and goes, "Hey, can I sit down next to you and do some drawing? Because my desk's pretty lonely." It reminded me of Paul Rudd. And he sits down and I was just like, this dude's a good dude. I gave Wes a 9. I can't give him a 9. I can stick with the Mosley number. I can give him an 8.5.
It's interesting that you say that moment where he went over and was like, "Hey kid, I'm going to come sit with you." Because remember, Kristin was always like, stop forcing that men being good with children is hot.
Yeah.
In that case, it was genuine, and it wasn't this like she was watching them because it's her child.
Yeah.
And he's a teacher. I don't know. It was different to me. So I did find that attractive, that he was, whatever. He's a good teacher. This man is stunning. Like,
did he smash plates?
He smashed my plates.
He did.
He smashed all my plates. Like, smashed all the plates on me.
This guy smashes my plates. I want that to take off. Look, Remark will never have a lot of viewers. We get it. But man, if Smash My Plates became like, yo, man, smash my plates.
Yo, man, that dude smashed my plates. Hashtag smash my plates. He gets an 8.5 from me.
Nice. That is some plate smashing. And finally, that brings us to a Biltmore Christmas with our man, Christopher Polala.
I think this was oh God, because I love a Jimmy Stewart. I love a Cary Grant. Cary Grant in North by Northwest is probably the sexiest and dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's what this reminded me of, because he was just so genuinely like, "Wow, doll, I blah, 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 blah." And man, sleigh bells ring, are they jingling? Yes, they were. 10!
A 10. Whoa.
A 10!
Man, I don't know.
Stunning in all of the suits and the old.
He was likable. And they even set the film up with the other guy where in the present, they talk about how he's supposed to be so nice, which immediately like he's going to be an angel. And he was. Whereas this dude was just so nice and unassuming. The kids in the background was so nice to people on set, knew everyone's names. I'm not going to go 10 on this, but I am definitely going to go with a 9. He gave her his watch. I'm going to give him a 9.5.
Ooh. We just rated Hot Dudes 1 out of 10 heinies. I forgot to say that at the start of this. But if you're watching, you've probably watched the show before. But if you're new, thanks so much. Don't stop watching.
Yeah, if you're new and you got this far, I feel like you're just going to hang out with us. So, because maybe, I'm not assuming, but maybe we smash your plates. I don't know.
Maybe we smash your plates. Someone's going to go into work and be like, yo, did you watch that Remark episode? Yo, they smashed my plates.
So dumb. We need to get t-shirts. You can actually order Remark t-shirts. I've had a couple people email us about that.
Yeah.
It's up here. I'll put it up. It's a Bonfire. I forget the actual address, but
Yeah.
we have shirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts. As I said previously, you can email us if you have questions, comments, remarks of your own. You can send them to remarktheshow@gmail.com. We legit read them and we answer questions. We had somebody ask a question of Keith Costumes, who we previously had on, and I reached out to Keith with the question and was able to get the answer for that person. So like,
that's nice.
We can get you answers. We will get you answers. So please feel free. That's not to say send us all your questions for Keith, but you can. I'd love to have Keith back. And
yeah, absolutely. Also, don't send us because we don't. It's so funny, Kevin.
We'll see. What happens.
Send us whatever you want. We'll answer it. I don't know if it'll be accurate.
Oh, it won't. We're gonna make crap up, but if you're in the Philadelphia area, Chris, you're gonna have to take the show on the road because so many people want you other places because they're not local to Philadelphia, and I totally understand that. But if you're local to Philadelphia, you can make it for the holidays. Philadelphia is a beautiful, beautiful city to see at Christmas time, by the way. But check out Hallmarkable. You can get tickets at comedysportsphilly.com. The Kristin Finger is the director. She is also in it oftentimes. Is that accurate? That's accurate.
It is. But now that Peter and the Starcatcher at Delaware Theater Company, I'm an understudy for that. So I'm on call. So basically, I'm like a doctor who's on call.
Hello. What do you do? I'll tell you. I said, what don't you do?
It's too much. So yeah, come see Hallmarkable. Fridays at 8, and we got 2 Saturday matinees. Bring that Hallmark wine. I don't want any of it, but bring that Hallmark wine.
And go back and watch Butlers in Love again, because that was a good movie. I really enjoyed it, and it was fun. So
we did it, Kevin. 8 movies. 8 movies.
That was a lot. That's a lot. I think that's, dare I say, it was one too many. Letters to Santa could have, and then
it was one too many, because it felt like homework. Like I was like, oh, what am I gonna watch these? Like
I got a tree. Put up my tree. I put it up, but Julie and Kit did all the decorations on this one. I did the outside.
Beautiful.
20-foot snowman.
Yo, your 20-foot snowman smashes plates.
And all the plates. So so like and subscribe and smash our plates. Thank you. We'll see you next.
Mike, we miss you.
Bye, Mike. Oh, I forgot to say what's coming out this week. You'll find out.